Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I am going to be giving you my Taurus May 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up, as far as May goes, well, the Sun will be in Taurus from the 1st until the 20th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So this could be a very strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention to the self, the physical body, especially if this is actually by the Ascendant in one's actual natal chart. The outlook on life, appearance, first impression, and new beginnings. And also the early childhood, maybe someone prominent in one's early childhood. And these matters could likely be gone about in a very ponderous, deliberate fashion. Any change with whether it's the personality makeover or physical body can be maybe done with a lot of persistent, methodical, and latent energy. If this is like a workout program that Taurus might embark on, it could be done with a lot of endurance, perhaps, and a lot of that latent Taurus-like energy. And also done in a very stubborn, persistent, unwavering manner. A new beginning may be started, but done with a lot of ponderous Taurus energy. And it may be connected with some, Taurus-like things, such as something connected with a value or some money-making monetary endeavor. Anyway, next thing up is, as far as May goes, the Sun will be in Gemini from the 20th until the 31st. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, attention, put into monetary matters, values, self-esteem, and self-worth, resources, and possessions. Taurus needs to be careful not to become overly dominated by possessions or trying to possess others. In fact, this could be these second house matters that Taurus may be really trying to focus on and putting a lot of concentration of energy into. It could be done with a lot of animation, a lot of vivaciousness, a very lively manner in a spirited fashion. And also could be done perhaps using versatility, such as whether it might be something monetary related, doing multitasking, doing more than one job, perhaps accumulating possessions, perhaps in more than one manner. It can be also maybe through some mental ability as well at this time, and through some kind of communication as well. And with a lot of, and really could be really where communication, there could be a strong concentration of energy into this, where Taurus might actually value at this time, or maybe doing something with dexterity to generate money, and putting a lot of emphasis on that, such as like auto mechanics or refrigeration mechanics. So anyway, next thing up is, well, the new moon will be in Taurus on May 15th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So this could be a new start for Taurus, connected with the physical body, especially if this is actually hitting the first house on one's natal chart, and done with a lot of endurance and latent energy and persistence. In some cases, this could be the rekindling of a Taurus, perhaps connection from early childhood, or with somebody that may embody Taurus-like characteristics, or a connection that was just very stable and persistent, and was very and really had a lot of steadfastness and loyalty connected to it. This could be also perhaps a new beginning with something Taurus related, doing some kind of Taurus related work, such as stockbroker or finance, banking, financial advisor. Could also be, in some cases, a new personality makeover, and making a fresh start in terms of how you're going to go about making a first appearance on with someone, and doing so maybe by being emphasizing the Taurus traits, by showing maybe even increased patience, for example. And in any way, Well, the next thing up is, well, the full moon, we'll have a full moon in Sagittarius on May 29th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So the thing about this is, well, Taurus at this time might become tired, full, exasperated, perhaps at a flighty, foolhardy, reckless, blunt, tactless sexual partner, someone they're in an intimate relationship with, or maybe someone that they're sharing some kind of resources with at this time, and really let it out at this point in time. This could also be the completion or culmination of a transformation that perhaps was done with much exuberance, expansiveness, and enthusiasm. This could be also, too, in some cases, this could be like a revelation or an unveiling of something that that might be done with a lot of that Sagittarius-like veracity and expressing a lot of that veritable honesty and truth, so to speak. And it could be pertaining to something 8th house, such as insurance or something with taxes or with shared resources that comes out at this time. This could be also, too, that maybe you're talking about the 8th house. This could be maybe, as I was talking about before, a transformation that may come to completion. It could be something that maybe was done connected with athletics, or such as working out vigorously, or running, doing something outdoors, exercising outdoors. Or this could be in some cases, a philosophical transformation might be completed at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is, well, Mercury will be in Aries as far as May goes, from the 1st until the 13th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Taurus, there could be a lot of direct and outspoken, forthright, aggressive, and even impetuous communications in private. It could even be with hidden adversaries or people that you're calling out at this time that might be, you feel, are pretending to be your friends but are really enemies in disguise. Or you may simply be communicating things in an outright manner and maybe not realizing with people that maybe are your hidden enemies. Now, also, too, this could be really a lot of original and pioneering ideas, perhaps behind the scenes. You might become a little bit mentally impatient at this time regarding limitations and restrictions. You might be less voluble and loquacious at this time as well, since we are talking about Mercury and the 12th house. So anyway, well, the next thing up is, as far as May goes, Mercury will be in Taurus from the 13th until the 29th. So the 1st house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, Taurus might be more loquacious and voluble and talkative than usual, and be surprising others, because Taurus can actually often be very taciturn, just the opposite. Now, but there can be a lot more about, a lot more thinking, a lot more perhaps, you might be more idea-oriented at this time, and it might be done, and also being more talkative, as I stated before, but done with a lot of deliberate and ponderous energy, being methodical in speech, and wanting to assimilate knowledge, but perhaps doing so with the demonstration of things visually. Now, this could be a time, if applicable, you may come into contact perhaps with a Taurus sibling in some cases. Remember that Mercury is also about siblings, that it's more than just communication. Or a sibling that simply embodies Taurus-like characteristics that maybe you hadn't seen in a little bit. Now, also, Taurus, you might be at this time, you might be trying to make a first impression by being more learned at this time. So anyway, well, next thing up, as far as May goes, Mercury will be in Gemini from the 29th until the 31st. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Taurus, this could be where the mind might be motivated strongly toward generating income and making money, perhaps in a manifold of ways. You might be more inquisitive at this time than usual in terms of finding different outlets to make money, and it could be done through actually assimilating information and learning, trying to learn a lot, trying to in a rather short period. And also this could be about really talking about maybe values in a very eloquent manner with good diction, and also in self-worth as well, talking about that. And also too, this could be a time where, I mean, you're talking about Mercury and in the second house, and this could be about a lot of this communication, about maybe trying to work on self-esteem if that is an issue, and self-worth, and again doing so by really expressing yourself maybe very articulately regarding this. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Venus will be in Gemini as far as May goes from the 1st until the 19th. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Taurus at this time, this could be about intellectual stimulation through good conversation, perhaps with people, really enjoyment of this that you generate money with. This is the enjoyment of maybe doing some mental games such as Sudoku or Tetris or Haiku, in doing so with those people, or maybe people that you even value, and these could be things that you value at this time. This could be about the enjoyment and expression of versatility and variety, and even dexterity, and really maybe perhaps even increasing self-worth through this enjoyment, and really being more well-rounded, more diversified in the process, and it could lead to your greater self-worth. Now, talking about I mean, if Taurus, if you're unattached at this time, this could be a time where you might connect with a Gemini Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply someone that embodies Gemini-like characteristics. It could be someone whimsical, youthful, animated, and it could be at the place where you're generating income. And it could wind up being somebody that you may value very strongly, or might help you in terms of accumulating possessions in any way. But at the same time, one may date two people simultaneously when you have this Venus in Gemini, and the connection may be somewhat superficial. So anyway, next thing up is, well, Venus will be in Cancer as far as May goes from the 19th until the 31st. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Taurus, this could be about a strong love of home and family, and expressing this with neighbors and with siblings, which of course is family anyway. This could be about the expression of love and nostalgia, ancestry, reminiscing about the past, and doing a lot of talking, really incorporating this in your communications, maybe with people you know in your short journeys. This could be too about really valuing perhaps even introversion in talking about this as well, and doing so perhaps with your siblings and with your neighbors, doing things at home, enjoyment of home-related activities with them, valuing sympathy, being really protective at this time, in talking about these things as well. This could be about really the love of nurturing maybe vehicles, since that is connected with transportation. And anyway, and the next thing up is I want to get at is, now Mars will be in Capricorn as far as May goes from the 1st until the 16th. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, there could be a lot of serious, consistent, and disciplined energy, perhaps put into higher education, religious matters, doing things with in-laws and grandchildren if applicable, even publishing at this time. Also, the situation with in-laws and grandchildren might be more contentious and acrimonious than usual. There might be more arguments with them about regarding government, politics, business, serious philosophical differences with these people as well, perhaps, but perhaps putting a lot of ambitious energy into ninth house matters such as publishing, higher education, maybe taking the long distance journey, just ninth house matters in general, maybe activities even with foreigners or people in foreign countries. Anyway, and also too, this could be about really really putting a lot of that. I mean, you look at Mars, and this is about our energy, it's the vitality, and just generally putting that into ninth house related matters. And also could be arguments regarding philosophy or over religion, and ones that are very serious as well. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Mars will be in Aquarius as far as May goes from the 16th until the 31st. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be about putting a lot of innovative and ingenious energy, perhaps into matters connected with the career, how to improve maybe into one's reputation and public image. It could gaining notoriety, recognition. A lot of selfless and humanitarian energy as well might impact the reputation and public image. This could be too where you might get into where the situation with the dominant parent, which is often the father, and even authority figures, might be more contentious and acrimonious than usual. You might be getting tired of some kind of or angry over some kind of idiosyncratic or bizarre behavior connected with them at this time. And at the same time too, Aquarius energy could be very erratic and sporadic, and it can be where maybe that kind of energy might be kind of going back and forth in terms of doing things connected with the career, trying to improve your stature in life, etc. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Jupiter will be in Scorpio still. So the 7th house will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus, and it will be retrograde as far as May goes. So anyway, this could be really, I mean, as I've talked about in previous videos, Jupiter can be paradoxical. I mean, it could be very benign and benevolent, but it also could have a tendency to expand and enlarge. And in this case, it could be going where it could actually expand surreptitious and nefarious, perhaps, behavior connected with a significant other, a marriage partner. It could be open adversaries and enemies. It could be people that you're going to battle with in a legal situation or scenario. Also, too, this could be about luck going beyond the superficial and subterfuge in 7th house matters with the significant other in a partnership situation. Really, even with open enemies. At the same time, too, this could be also, I mean, keep in mind that Jupiter will be retrograde in May, so this could be about a review of a deep, profound philosophy regarding relationships, others in general, partnership situations, and also perhaps even open enemies or open adversaries. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn still. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted, and it will be retrograde in May. So this could be a time for Taurus where Taurus might experience strong restrictions and limitations connected with higher education. It could be regarding long distance traveling. In some cases, it could be some kind of government restriction or authority, something with authority restrictions for Taurus. I mean, such as like in some cases being on probation, as an example, where an authority might be really clamping down on what you're able to do as far as traveling, making long distance trips. Also, this could be in some cases about where Taurus might have to take care of some debilitated or sickly in-law or grandchild at this time, and it might make Taurus feel somewhat melancholy and despondent. It might be taking care of somebody that might have a Capricorn like type issues, such as something perhaps with the knees or the bones. So anyway. Also, too, this could be about a strong review of serious responsibilities, such as to higher education and publishing, and to in-laws and grandchildren, and maybe even to a religion or some congregation if you do belong to one. So anyway, next thing up is, well, Uranus will be in Aries as far as May goes from the 1st until the 15th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be about really having your private life at this time might be somewhat erratic and sporadic, and your freedom you might feel might be limited and inhibited at this time. There might be an unusual need for solitude and seclusion and privacy. Now, in some cases, you might find in some instances a bizarre mental illness. It could be some kind of onset of this, or some obstinate, and or I should say, not an obstinate one, but it could be one where it could be somewhat an unusual, very unanticipated one. But of course, you have to have, I mean, I would think there would be other things to kind of reaffirm this or reinforce this, such as your transit Uranus making an adverse aspect to your natal Mercury, as an example, at the same time. So anyway, it might be difficulties dealing with maybe some unusual or hidden adversaries at this time. You might be experiencing bizarre dreams as well, Taurus, at this time. So anyway, and it might be the expression of ingenuity and innovation in private, and really how maybe friendships might figure prominently more in terms of maybe your private life at this time for whatever reason, or anyway. And the thing about, next thing I want to get at is that Uranus will be in Taurus from May 15th, as far as May goes, from the 15th until the 31st. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be about, in some cases, an unusual change or appearance at this time. Taurus might be expressing more innovative qualities, more ingenuity, more unpredictability, but there can be more danger of some kind of electricity or shock. It could be doing something, I mean, given this is Taurus energy, doing something where you're working laboriously at your job or something. This could be where Taurus-like friendships might impact your outlook on life, ones that are very loyal and steadfast. Perhaps it could be about having very extemporaneous and spontaneous new beginnings as well for Taurus, and really making, maybe doing something to change, your first impression on others as well at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Neptune will be in Pisces. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, I could really relate to this because I'm actually having Neptune transiting my 11th house right now. This could be about, I mean, dissipation, dissolving of friends and acquaintances, confusion over aspirations and goals. Your aspirations and future even might be somewhat nebulous and unclear. At this time, it could be dealing with delusion and deception in matters with friends and acquaintances as well, and sometimes actually literal disappearances of these people. So, and really also dealing with possible false prophets, which might really impact your future, or might try to tell you that your future is going to be this and that, just to con money from you, as an example. Now, Also, too, it could be dealing with friends and acquaintances that might be getting involved with drugs or alcohol at this time. And at the same time, Neptune, and you're talking about the 11th house. Well, it could be where you might, the way this could manifest is that you may become involved in maybe a Neptune-like aspiration, or pursue Neptune-like aspirations such as chemistry, photography, pharmaceutical work, even something of a spiritual nature, the metaphysical, which of course could include astrology. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Pluto will be in Capricorn, so the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be, I mean, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but, you know, I'm going to do it anyway. In some cases, this could signify a death of an in-law or a grandchild, if applicable. It could be maybe where you could experience death in some cases, maybe doing some foreign traveling, traveling abroad. Also, too, this could be about the really a figurative death or obliteration or destruction of a certain philosophical outlook, maybe a religious outlook. At the same time, this could be, in some cases, guard against perhaps indoctrination, or trying to forcibly maybe convince someone of your philosophy on something and say that it's the only one and there's no other possible way. Or maybe you might be experiencing from other people toward you at this time. Also, too, this could be about perhaps a foreigner or an in-law, a grandchild, somebody if you're going to college or something at a university, maybe expressing some kind of compulsive, obsessive behavior. At this time, there could be power struggles that are associated, that are connected with foreigners, with grandchildren, with in-laws at this time. Anyway. Well, the next thing up is, well, the North Node will be in Leo, so the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, this could be, when you're talking about the North Node in transit, this could be about having to confront or address issues. And in this case, it could be about confronting perhaps a domineering, overbearing, arrogant, bombastic, could be a family member. Sometimes this could be the mother. Or the less dominant parent, I should say, which is often the mother. Could be someone you feel close to home with. Also, too, this could be about having to maybe spend a little more, be a little bit more extravagant in matters pertaining to the end of life, such as the latter part of your life, getting ready for it, getting your stocks or whatever your retirement plans in order. So anyway, also about really being directed toward taking pride and having dignity in your roots and traditions. It might have to do also, you might be have to address issues regarding extravagance and home-related matters, or even getting in touch with your roots. Maybe even having foundations that are royal, or ones that are connected with being magnanimous and generous, and generosity being connected with them, and also perhaps getting attention and recognition for perhaps something you've done in matters pertaining to your home and your family, and being lauded for getting some kind of recognition for it. So anyway, well, the next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will be in Capricorn still, so the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, this could be, I mean, when you look at the Black Moon Lilith, this could be a lot of times about the revelation or unveiling of some kind of, sometimes, I mean, in this case being Capricorn, it could be a formidable Capricorn adversary, or an adversary that embodies Capricorn-like characteristics. Sometimes it could be an in-law. In this case, you're talking about the 9th house, a grandchild, somebody you see in a foreign country. It could be a person that you know, that you go to college with. So anyway, and also could be where somebody might it could also be about one of the people that I just described maybe are revealing some kind of ruthless, tyrannical, overambitious, undemonstrative qualities, or even using sexuality to attain ambitions. At the same time, this could be about your own revelation, perhaps that comes out where you really could be about a very depressing, limiting, restricting, pessimistic philosophy or outlook on life. The one thing, when you're talking about the Black Moon Lilith as well, this could be about what could actually put you in a state of fright and trepidation. And in this case, as an example, this could be about maybe the fear of not being able to publish things. I mean, if you're doing daily publishing, whether it's even publishing videos on YouTube, for example. So I would think that could still apply. So also too, about maybe at the same time, I mean, Capricorn energy can be very melancholy and very despondent. So it could be where maybe something comes out where you're feeling some despondency in some kind of ninth house matters, such as higher education, maybe some limitation or restriction connected with it might be publishing. Maybe it's about something connected with foreigners or foreign travel. So anyway, last but not least, well, Chiron will be in Aries, so the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this can manifest in a number of ways. This could be about, in some cases, really where Taurus might go through some emotional wounds and suffering in connection with not taking action, not showing initiative and enterprise in taking care of trying to weed out hidden adversaries, or lack of assertiveness and aggression in trying to tackle fears, limitations, and restrictions. In some cases, in isolated cases, it could be about maybe an anger, acrimonious related mental illness. And also, too, there could be very combative, there could be some acrimonious and combative situations in one's private life where Taurus is doing some suffering, perhaps because of this. And maybe there's some kind of anger issues that might be prohibiting proper sleep, or thinking about some combative situations that might be affecting the sleep of Taurus at this time. And also, when they're talking about the Chiron and Aries transit, the way that what this could be about too is about our sense of worthiness. And really, there could be some, right now for Taurus, where there could be a lot of this lack of worthiness, maybe some feelings connected with it that might lead to some kind of reclusive or habits associated with solitude and seclusion. And Taurus might be withdrawing because of this now due to lack of worthiness. But remember that when you're talking about Chiron, it is the wounded healer. So in the areas that Taurus might be going through some struggling or difficulties in connection with Chiron and Aries and the 12th house, Taurus may readily be able to help others dealing with comparable situations, and doing so with a lot of that Aries like aggression, assertiveness, fortitude, courage, and outspokenness. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Taurus May 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'm going to be talking about astrology and evil part 2. You may remember there was some time ago I did a video about astrology and evil, and I think in this one I may be expounding and elaborating on it a little bit and clearing maybe perhaps some things up as far as that first video went. So anyway, people, two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components, in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.